Hey, friends, welcome to another episode of the Redzone Roundup. This is Friends of the Squared Circle teaming up with Mayhem Media. JD, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Crander. It's Sunday. Football's on.
That's right. We are here to talk the NFL. Folks, if you have not seen our other shows, go back, take a look on our pages here and check it out. But we are here specifically to talk about the NFL and, more importantly, the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't want to mess that up today. I've been giving you a hard time about being a Cowboys fan. But if you are a fan of one of the 32 teams out there, let us know who your favorite team is, and we can get you on a future episode of our brand new spinoff, the Redzone Roundup. Now, again, we are talking about the Philadelphia Eagles here, JD, as you know. Tell us about why you like the Eagles.
Well, I've been a fan of the Eagles since I was a kid.
Okay.
In terms of the origins or why, we couldn't really say that because my family's a bunch of Redskins fans for some reason.
Oh, boy.
And I'm an Eagles fan, so I have no idea how that specifically came about. But I do remember that I've been an Eagles fan for as long back as I can remember.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story, like you say, that your family was, we are going to call them the Redskins and Commanders. We're going to jump back and forth.
Yeah,
Depends on what we want to call them. We're not being politically incorrect. We're not being inappropriate here, folks. It's just kind of what, the name has been or whatever. It's confusing.
what.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what.
Moving on from that. But,
Yeah.
my whole family were Packer fans, and I didn't want to root for the Green Bay Packers. And Baltimore became a new team. So I was like, I'm jumping on that bandwagon. They're new. They just happen to be purple, just like Green Bay's rival. So it worked out perfect. But yeah, good for you for standing out on your own. You
Yeah.
obviously picked the better team.
Yeah.
In my opinion, yes, the Redskins have won some Super Bowls in the past, but this is your era that we are talking about, not those yesteryears. You're not that old, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, the Commanders or the Redskins, whichever you'd want to call them, are going through kind of their turmoil as the Eagles did through the '90s. And I was a fan all the way through all the dark ages of Richie Kotite, the terrible head coach, and all the bad stuff that we did as a team. So it's nice to start getting to being on top for a while and getting some victories and a Super Bowl.
And they've been a team of the 2000s, and we are in 2024. If you are watching this in the future, they have been a dominant force for the last 20 some years. They've had a few peaks and valleys,
Yeah.
but consistently they are one of the top teams in the NFC and NFL. I am, a fan of mostly players when it comes to, football. I am a Ravens fan first, but I always like to go after players, like I like those guys like Donovan McNabb. Reggie White came over to the Packers, so you kind of didn't get to like him as much after that. But you guys, you had one of my favorite receivers there on the old football games that I would take would be Irving Fryer. And I just love that name, Irving Fryer. Like that is definitely like a creative player name. And then, McNabb, Coach Andy Reid. When Terrell Owens got there, I was like, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Then, unfortunately, ran into those Patriots. Hugh Douglas. The Eagles, the color scheme, that green, that silver. A lot of good things about the Eagles. So.
Yeah, the green and the silver were definitely one of my favorite uniforms. A classic, you know what I mean? The classic green and silver is just amazing, especially with the old green with the wing on the helmet. That was great.
Oh yes, the Kelly green, yes.
Yeah.
And they are one of the only teams who have a left-facing logo. That's another unique thing for the Eagles. They have the wings on the helmet, so they're standing out just from a wardrobe, or I guess you could say uniform, not wardrobe standpoint as well. So very unique there in Philadelphia. But we're going to segue into your favorite stuff about the Eagles. Go ahead and run us through some of your favorite players there.
Absolutely. On the left there, you see Doug Peterson. He was not only was he a player for the Philadelphia Eagles, but then, of course, he was the head coach that brought us home our Super Bowl title. And then we got rid of him through some controversial stuff, but we'll save that for another mini series. But Doug Peterson, him bringing home the Super Bowl trophy. I mean, Andy Reid's great, but Doug Peterson's the one that brought home the Lombardi trophy. So I got to go with it.
Correct.
Nick Foles, of course, the man who actually was the quarterback during that Super Bowl and ran the Philly special, which I know you're going to ask me about my favorite moments, so I'll save that. But I got to go with the Super Bowl winning quarterback as well. And then I went with the Weapon X himself, the human version of Weapon X, Brian Dawkins, who I think helped redefine what the safety position did and what was capable of. And then, of course, Randall Cunningham, the man who really was one of the first mobile quarterbacks who could take it out of the pocket and actually run downfield like a runner, like a running back. So those are four iconic players of the more modern day, and then of the yesteryears as well.
Yeah, definitely. Doug Peterson, like you said, getting that Super Bowl win, knocking off those Patriots. Andy Reid, historically, getting it there, getting to the show, but unfortunately not getting it done until he faced your Eagles, which is like kind of just a slap in the face to you Eagles fans. But we won't talk about the Chiefs here. Those are another episodes for Chiefs fans. You bring up Randall Cunningham, one of the first quarterbacks there in Baltimore during those early years. I love Randall Cunningham just like you do. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. He was on my slide for the preview show, but as you mentioned, segueing into those iconic moments, what are some of those iconic moments that stand out for you being an Eagles fan?
I have to say, definitely, I mean, Randall Cunningham throwing the ball. He was a great runner too, but the way his form with throwing the ball, I used to have posters of him, in that throwing pose. So I think that's a huge iconic like image of the Eagles past. And then of course the Philly special, the fake the juke play that they ran against the Patriots to take the lead, in which Foles caught a touchdown pass, that did not throw it but caught it. So I have to say that is probably the most iconic for many Eagles fans. They would probably go with that one because that is a trick play to take the lead against the Patriots, who were in the middle of their dynasty, or at least at the end of their dynasty, but still in it. I think was huge. I think that's probably the symbol that would live in most people's minds. And of course, Terrell Owens standing in the Dallas Cowboys star in the center of the field. Who doesn't remember that?
I remember that Sports Center very well. They kept showing that, and I love T.O. I just wish Randy would have just been a little quieter on the sidelines. But those are some of my favorite receivers, in pro sports. And we almost got T.O. to Baltimore. And he could have did the same for us there, possibly got us to the big game. Being an Eagles fan, again, you guys are 2-2 in the Super Bowl. You have been one of the more dominant teams in the last 20 years, like I said. I mean, one thing people do bring up, though, is that you are the rowdiest and probably most annoying fans in the NFL. What do you have to say about that?
Well, first, I'm going to have to correct you. I believe we're 1-3 in Super Bowls, not
1-3.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 1-3 in Super Bowls. And then, yes, we are known for our fans. The stadium inside Philadelphia does have a police station and a holding cell inside the stadium. That is correct. And we will boo our own team. We will let you know if you have messed up. And that's, I think, one of the things that draws me to being that team is that their fans are honest. They're not just going to back the team no matter what. Like you got to put on a show. You got to perform. If you want our support, we want to see you perform. And
Philadelphia is known for being tough. You wouldn't have a Rocky statue in the city if you were not tough. So,
absolutely right.
Before we round this up, though, JT, this is my favorite part of the show. I forgot to tell you this off camera because we've been having a lot of fun. What is your prediction for the Philadelphia Eagles this season? I know we're going to debut Miami and Philadelphia in week 2 for your channel. I feel like that's a Super Bowl potential matchup, is Philadelphia and Miami. But what is your prediction for the upcoming season for your Philadelphia Eagles?
I'm going to say, listen, going back to some of the controversy of Doug Peterson leaving as head coach and Nick Sirianni stepping in, coming from a player's perspective, Nick Sirianni has done a great job building this team, filling in for Doug Peterson, even though we haven't got another Super Bowl win yet or anything. I think we have to make it to the Super Bowl this year. Coming from a fan's perspective, if Nick Sirianni wants to stay as head coach or at least keep the fan support, we've got to see a Super Bowl run this year. That he's used up his couple of years. Now we need a Super Bowl run. I'm not saying that we necessarily have to win, but I think we have to make it to the Super Bowl this year for us to be showing progress, for us to be moving forward as a team. Worst case, the championship. Anything less than the NFC Championship is not going to fly with me this year. We have to go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, and they had a horrible second half there last year. I mean, they were scary. I mean, they had the NFC right in graphs, and then I don't know what happened. It just kind of they played like the Ravens in the second half of the season. Holy cow!
Yep,
that's my team, and I'll talk crap about that all day.
We've got to turn them on. We got to turn it on and keep it going through the whole season. A lot of people are excited about Saquon Barkley this year, and I am too. My concern is in the second half of the year, Saquon Barkley blows it up every year, but traditionally, statistically, he has a little trouble late in the seasons, not just with injuries, but even with performance. And it's hard being a running back in today's NFL. I get it, but we do need the performance from the players that we're paying money to on our team. We have the team on paper. We're a Super Bowl winning team, so we have to at least make it to the championship, worst case.
Definitely. All right, JD, real quick. I know this will be featured on your page, but where can they find you? And we'll wrap this up. Another episode of the Redzone Roundup.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find this on all of the Mayhem Media outlets on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Just search Mayhem Media, and you can find us. Look for the symbol. You can see it down there in the bottom. Although Halloween's coming up, it's going to change. It's going to be a cool little Halloween symbol. But yeah, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. And of course, we'll be uploading more and more content to our website, mayhemmediaproductions.com. It's just new. We've just recently launched it. And that's where our content will eventually be. It's not all there yet, but it will be. mayhemmediaproductions.com.
Perfect. And again, folks, one more time, if you want to be featured on an upcoming episode with your favorite team, reach out to Friends of the Squared Circle or Mayhem Media and let us know your favorite team. Comment on the video once it's released. That's another great way we can reach out to you to let us know your favorite team. We are not taking applications for Steeler fans at this time because I'm still salty about those damn Steelers all the time. But it's been your boy, CranderQ. CranderQ out, and JD from Mayhem Media.